Okay, so we are live at this Network Society New York Meetup. My name is David Orban. I'm the founder of Network Society Research. And here with me is Naol Duga, Ethiopian ambassador of Network Society, even if currently residing in New York. And the founder of the BitGada project, which is it correct?
Chief blockchain technologist.
Chief blockchain at Loyal, which is a New York startup.
Yeah.
So the announcement that we sent out just yesterday of Network Society having become a Singularity University company. And what does it mean? It means that Singularity University recognizes Network Society applying exponential technologies to address the global grand challenge of governance and policy. Let me switch over to a few slides and then we will go back to have a conversation with Naol. So, Network Society Research is a London-based global think tank. We are present in 34 countries today. The sister organization to Network Society Ventures, which is an early stage startup investment firm. And with Singularity University, which based at the NASA Research Park in California and funded by Google, what we do is we look at how exponential technology can be leveraged for social impact across several different areas. So let me cut back to actually the live stream to the camera here. Is we just have some wonderful people joining us totally unexpectedly and unannounced. What a wonderful surprise. All over from Italy, all over from Texas. Wow, you guys are amazing. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Are you just dropping in or you are planning to stay?
Consensus 2016 just finished.
All right.
So we plan to stay a little bit. We have like a meetup in Brooklyn for the consensus debriefing later.
Of course.
And there is a Blockstack meetup too.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
to step by.
Yeah, this is New York. So obviously, what you must learn is not to suffer from FOMO. The fear of missing out, because if you don't resist, you just go crazy. You know, because there are so many things, there are hundreds of things every day. So wonderful, and thank you and welcome. What a beautiful surprise.
And sorry for the lack of information.
No, that's great. So meet Naol Duga.
I consensus actually.
So I will totally interrupt my stupid presentation because I want to do as we do in real meetups and go around and each of you present yourselves because you know it's worth it. This is a beautiful community and I want you to know who you are. Not compulsory. If anybody wants to be anonymous, that is fine. Just know that we are live streaming, so it's too late. But whatever, you can be silent. So why don't you start? Why don't we start with you?
Hi everybody, Giacomo Zucco. I'm the CEO of Blockchain Lab, which is an Italian research lab based on blockchain technology stuff, Bitcoin and Ethereum mainly. And we gather entrepreneurs from all over Italy and Europe, also with an investment fund, Blockchain Club, that started just last month. We are trying to nurture and to incubate an ecosystem in Southern Europe where it's more lacking, but where we have a lot of talents as a Riccardo, who will present himself later, or Lawrence, Naum Andres, or Thomas Bertani, or Claes. There's a lot of smart people in the blockchain space in Italy and in Southern Europe, and so we're trying to make them work together to produce something bigger.
Wonderful.
Great.
Let's hear from you.
Hey everybody, David Johnston, Chairman of Factor. Basically provide a data layer for the blockchain for large enterprises that want to use its capabilities. So I live in Austin, Texas, but here in New York for the week for Consensus.
Last time we met, it was in Amsterdam, a couple of years ago, maybe.
2014.
Yeah, it was a great event. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Olivia, the wife and assistant of Giacomo, so nothing else.
Oh no, that is a very, very important, very important pillar of all of our lives. Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Gabriele Domenichini, and I'm the president of the Italian Association in Blockchain Technology, mainly Bitcoin. And we have professionals, companies, and passionate people talking around the blockchain.
Hi, I'm Riccardo Casatta. I work with Giacomo at Blockchain Lab, and I'm also the owner and creator of some project on the blockchain. The main one is Carnegie Wall, which is basically writing on the blockchain and making the blockchain accessible to more people, because the property of the blockchain is fantastic, and I would like to share the wonderful technology with all the world.
Wonderful. And now, why don't you tell the other people about you?
Yeah, my name is Nantuga, and I'm the Chief Blockchain Technology Blockchain Technologist Loyal. We formerly Revit was me. We built blockchain-based reward systems. And also I'm the founder of Bitcoin project, which actually uses blockchain technology for distributed governance from Africa, Ethiopia in particular. I'm based here. I'm also serving as an ambassador for the Network Society project. That's where I know David from, and quite excited to be at Consensus also. I was there, and David Johnson, it was you, so I've read GitHub on decentralized government, decentralized applications, so I'm good to meet you.
That's great.
I'm a Ethereum fan.
That's great. So allow me to go back to the presentation that I was giving to our current and future viewers and listeners, because we will be not only streaming but also recording this. So it is going to be possible to review at any point what we are saying. Yesterday, research became a Singularity University company. And today's meetup is about what does this mean? Our goal is to apply exponential technologies. Singularity University, that is what we do. We teach and apply how exponential technologies can positively impact the world and change it for the better. Artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, Internet of Things, blockchain, robotics, and so on and so forth. We are all of IT. Today we are seeing these exponentials faster, more cost-effective, and more powerful all around us. Even if initially we were able to recognize this in IT only with our computers, the effect of how digitization is working is visible in is visible in energy with solar photovoltaics. It is visible in biology with the speed, or actually the effects are of dematerializing, demonetizing, and democratizing access to all these technologies for the benefit of billions. So we see specifically at Network Society Research and the sister organization, Network Society Ventures, the early stage technology startup investment firm, we can also experiment with distributed and decentralized organizations. And that is the fundamental viable alternative that potentially is going to be better if they have a choice for a lot of people. The fact that this is actually happening is demonstrated by bureaucracies that are resisting. Very often use excuse of consumer protection, that people are too stupid to get access to their own genetic data or stuff like that. But in reality, they are hiding a state of panic. It's like an immune system. If I am allergic to nuts, my body will say, you want to eat a piece of nut? I'd rather kill you than you having a nut. And evidently, this is not very good. So, where for a long time, something like a year, it was prohibited to install photovoltaic panels because there was a piece of legislation that said you have to interconnect it with the utility grid. If you don't mind, so if you don't want to be streamed, that's fine. What I would like is to have other people know about you, who you are, what you do, and then give you the welcome.
All right. My name is Casimira Ian. I'm a friend who invited me here. I'm a user expert and have background and products. I'm very interested in blockchain. I've owned Bitcoin for 2 years, and so showed progression and blockchain out almost after like 3 days. Great.
Absolutely. So this was, just an opener, and I understand that I always like to organize these self-organized fashion. So whether there will be, just 2 people or 200 people, and both of them happen, it goes however it goes. So we were a couple of months ago, 200 people in Argentina. There was a wonderful event in Shanghai where we debated very, very strongly what Beijing should be doing with regards to its pillars of decentralization. And it was really great to see provocative thinking openly expressed with regards to this. So, what do you think? How likely it is, in your opinion, that the current system will allow itself to be reformed from the inside? Let's hear about that to start.
I go first. Well, I think that I don't know what do you think, but after these days of consensus, the system is not going to recognize the main points of this kind of performance improvement. Use some kind of revision, gradual and incremental revision of current process, current business model, current approaches. They are willing to adapt a little bit to make it better, but there is a clear and I think difficult to overcome difficulty to accept that many of the things they are talking about are just going to disappear in a quick change, in a very dramatic change when all these pieces come together. So, my opinion is that we will see some legislation or some markets, some industries follow more quickly than others, but not lead this change.
David, what do you think? Are the incumbents going to be able to adapt? And if not, what can people do?
Some of them adapt, some of them will replace. I use the internet as a good analogy. Some of the media companies for the internet are still around. Some of them got completely displaced, and others had to radically change. Right? So, take the magazine, newspapers, the largest brands are still around. They all had to go digital. They all had to reduce their staff. Right? It wasn't the old days of physical distribution. But a lot of them went away. Right? Local ones, the smaller brands that really didn't have the heft to make the transition or didn't have the foresight. So I think it'll be very similar. We're just talking about a different industry. It's not communication that's changing. It's removing intermediaries. It's removing the need for trusted third party. Right? That's the core of the thing about this technology. And so anybody that has a trusted third party model and an intermediary model needs to really think about how this is going to change their business. The smartest people are making purchases, making investments, making active things to see how they need to change their model, and some will fall behind. So I expect it to be very similar.
So I agree. I think I was too much extreme. Even because we are in New York City, there is Central Park, and you can see horses training cars. And after the engine, the oil fuel the engine was invented, you think that every kind of horses-driven car is going to disappear. They will not. They will have places, niches like Central Park, where they are more romantic. Maybe somebody will use a fiduciary third party in 100 years from now, as we use horses in Central Park.
And to build on that analogy, though, there's been a massive shift in market share. There used to be something like 50 million horses in the States, right? Every person needed for basic transportation, farm labor, what have you. Arcade, they're a slightly smaller horse population.
And there was
factories became a thing, you know. So now they're whatever 150, 200 million cars in the United States.
And there was a conference in New York. I didn't look up what the name was, but it should have been Horse Manure Get Done Conference, because all those horses were polluting the city, and the speed of taking out or doing anything with their droppings was really hard. Now, let me give you an example of a situation where we are already seeing something quite extreme. Maybe you remember just 9 months ago in Greece, when a sovereign country was frozen, you could not get more than 50 euro per day out of the banking system with your ATM card. And then there was a new situation, and I don't know how many people believe that the new situation is a solution, because others think it is a camouflage, or it's just postponing a day of reckoning. But in Greece, just as in Hawaii, it is illegal to put a solar panel that is not connected to the national grid. Okay? 1. 2, in Greece, taxes are being paid with your electric bill. Okay? 3, it is illegal to discuss among citizens the reform of the Constitution. Any reform of the Constitution, any legislative reform, is by law legal only among the parliament and politicians, not among citizens. So these 3 conditions, to me, perfectly reconstitute in a technological basis a feudal vassalage, where people are enslaved to a system that is set up to stop them from adopting alternative, independent ways of acting, organizing, thinking. So I think this is a fairly complete example of how an existing centralized hierarchical system wants to make sure that nothing can change. And of course, it will still change.
Sure.
But you know, it may be more chaotic and more dramatic because of all the tension that in the meantime accumulates. So, and of course, it is interesting that the crisis started from the financial system, and especially in the euro, which is hyper centralized and encompasses 500 million people, or sorry, the euro, that's the European Union. The eurozone is smaller, but still quite a few people. And of course, Greece is just a test, because the indebtedness of Greece pales if compared with the indebtedness of Italy. And so come this summer, it will be interesting to see whether the trial that Greece represented will become the premiere of some new showpiece in Italy. Also, it is interesting that these things happen in the summer, because people don't need to heat their houses. So when things go very badly, people don't necessarily die because of the cold, for example. Another provocative analysis that I want to ask you whether you feel similarly or differently is whether the refugee crisis that is quite dramatic in Europe is due to the civil wars, or the civil wars themselves are an effect of climate change, which is already impacting the North African and Middle Eastern parts of the world, and where people are flocking to cities, not because urbanization traditionally has benefited, but because they cannot sustain themselves in the countryside anymore, because those fields are not fertile anymore, and they just cannot live as they used to. If that is true, this is a further piece in the puzzle of increasing tension that requires a degree of adaptation that our systems are, I don't know whether they will be able to do that. Talking about adaptation, I want to give now the opportunity to talk about Big Data. Because Big Data is, well, I mean Gata, not Big Data, but Gata is thousands of years old, right? Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Gata first, and then Big Data, and what it could represent.
Yeah, so when you think of society, I think the social layer, the economic layer, the political layer, and now the modern age technology, you have the developed world, you have the developing world, and when you think of development, there is this theory wherein the most sustainable kind of development is one that is rooted in ideas, instead of foreign ideas being imposed on the people. You take what has worked in the past, sort of modernize it and integrate it, other technology. What area studying like grad school in Amsterdam and that I'm in New York. I've been interested in decentralized structures for how many years? Since 2004, I've been following cyberpunks. I'm a Bitcoin fan, So back in Ethiopia, like the largest group, country is like a poor country, but it has thousands of years history, and the largest group is called the Oromo, and they are like 40 million people, and they have a very sophisticated distributed governance system called the GEDA. So it's a governance system, but it also incorporates culture, ecology, and all things, quite sophisticated. But for the past 200 years or so, it has declined, and now we have the nation state, which is at least in its current form, at least in Ethiopia, it's a foreign concept, the nation state structure. So governance has changed, and you see this disconnect between, countries that call themselves a democracy, and the people who actually remember what real democracy was, but now all remains what it is, real democracy. So the nation states, and especially centralized structures, like the nation state or associated institutions, be it the financial system, the military, I think are oppressive, inherently oppressive, even when people are trying to nice, have benevolent others. These kind of structures are very opaque and are prone to corruption, and by extension, oppression. Right? So I've been, my cyberpunk kind of nerd side in my views regarding development, lots of things have merged together. I think sometime in 2014. I was looking at projects that were voting on blockchain, decentralized peer-to-peer structures for payments, identity. And that I thought actually I would take this indigenous institution, indigenous governance system, understand it from a structuralism perspective, apply anthropological ideas, extract the essence of system, borrow, retain its principles, which include egalitarianism, merit, and those things, and port the social structure onto the blockchain. So I call this the name of the system GEDA, and I call the project GEDA. So there is actually a chapter on the Network Society book. So it's been going on, and I've been working on it in stealth mode. There is a community around it. Back home, we cannot openly work on these kind of systems because, it's against the government, really. They wouldn't allow it, but nonetheless, we have been implementing things. And on top of Ethereum, actually, announcing sometime soon, we have managed to reconstruct a social contract, all kinds of systems, and integrates things like Bitcoin, maybe BitNation, or all kinds of systems, and try to come up with a complete social system, built all the way bottom up, incorporating the culture, and introducing new fancy blockchain. So I'm quite excited about it, and actually connecting it with the question that you guys were talking about earlier regarding regulation. So I believe in leapfrogging. So when you have countries like the US or Europe, wherein the incumbents are protected by regulation, when you introduce something like mobile phones or blockchain technology, the corporations have tremendous power. But if you target a different market, market like potential Africa or something like that, the regulatory regime is not as strong as it would be in the developed world. So there is this opportunity to leapfrog and as creative distractions. The wider space, I see opportunity for blockchain technology, financial inclusion, and introducing governance. Quite excited about the Network Society Readiness.
Wonderful. That can come back. I just want to add that to your point. Like M-Pesa, for example, came back to us after it was already in place.
Yeah,
M-Pesa. So they're great. Yeah, they're great opportunity.
Yeah, actually, M-Pesa in Kenya, 70% of the GDP flows to M-Pesa. So still, when people talk about leapfrogging or disruption, that's what they talk about. So sometimes it's good to consider other markets as well.
Well, we are really slow because we have different infrastructure. We don't need it initially, but that's actually a total advantage. I mean,
Yeah.
There are very interesting experiments in the US as well. A lot of work is being done in understanding how communities can be empowered by new ways of looking at these technologies being deployed in an integrated fashion. In Brooklyn, Consensus, one of the projects from Consensus, is called Transactive Grid, and applies energy trading in a neighborhood so that people can benefit in a local fashion from either generation or storage or use, pricing, of course, energy according to what is the local market rather than factors that don't benefit or are not locally generated. And the same can be thought around food, health, learning, security. All of these constitute an opportunity for disrupting intermediaries, for finding new business models, for empowering people, including in those areas where those services are either unavailable or available on an extremely exclusive and egalitarian basis only, rather than to everybody uniformly. And so I also agree with your leapfrogging. Blockchain and Bitcoin technologies in the Philippines, in many other places are really developing interestingly because of the local infrastructure not being available or sufficiently included. Okay, what I would like to do is to go and have a beer. So I will thank our current and future viewers online and stop the stream. We are obviously at the beginning only in exploring how to apply exponential technologies to the global grand challenge of governance and policy making. We will be meeting not only with the United Nations, but with governments. We've already had the chance in the past to meet with the Italian Parliament, for example, or with the government of Guernsey, which has fascinating challenges by themselves. And this will be extended all over our reach, which is certainly going to be in the coming months. So thank you very much.